Good morning. Thank you all for being here this morning on this wonderful historic day to celebrate our nurse cadets. Thank you to McLean for hosting us here. I wanted to thank Commissioner Saadi for being here, members of the VFW and American Legion. I wanted to thank State Senator James Maroney, who's running a little late, but should be here any minute. I thought it'd be appropriate that we ask our American Legion members and VFW members to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. If you join us, including you, Commissioner.
And salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Ann Baldwin, for your help today, and a special thanks to Betsy Van Loon, who was very integral in pulling this all together. They saved lives at home so others could save lives abroad. That is what today is all about. Thanking the brave women of the Cadet Norse Corps for being here and all of their support during wartime. We are providing support, expressing thanks and gratitude, and getting help to those who need it for those who are truly deserving. When the United States entered World War II, the demand for nurses increased dramatically, which created a nursing shortage. In order to alleviate the shortage, in March 1943, Congressman Francis Bolton introduced a bill in Congress known as the Bolton Act to establish a special program to facilitate the training of nurses signed into law by then President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Over 1,000 nursing schools throughout the United States joined the Cadet Nurse Program during its existence, facilitating the training of over 125,000 nurses, including Alice Johnson and the late Irene Wilkes Walker. They filled the wartime supply of nurses and care for American citizens on both the home and war fronts. By replacing these nurses who had already entered into active duty and the Cadet Nurse Corps prevented the collapsing of nursing care throughout the U.S. as service members returned from war. Although this legislation created the Cadet Nurse Corps, it would not have been successful without the actual noble and dedicated service of Alice and Irene and the countless women who selflessly demonstrated their skill, devotion, and patriotism. Just like other men and women in our military, they answered the call of duty to serve our country where they are needed without hesitation. Today, however, those who served in the Cadet Nurse Corps are not recognized as veterans and do not receive benefits granted to those who have served their country. This is simply unacceptable. That is why we co-sponsored Senate Joint Resolution 3 and passed in asking Congress once and for all to honor these women in a way they so rightfully deserve and extend to them the gratitude of being called veterans, making them eligible for VA benefits, and thanking them for their service. We will continue this effort in the name of Alice and Irene, whose lives, bravery, and patriotism we celebrate today. It is now my honor and privilege to recognize and introduce our Commissioner of Veterans Affairs. He is a great steward for Connecticut's veterans and has been at the helm now. This is his, which year, sir? Fifth year?
Yes.
Fifth year. And we're always thrilled to have him in Simsbury, and please join me in welcoming him here today.
Thank you, Representative Hampton, for the introduction, but more importantly, for your continued and steadfast support of our veterans, service members, and their families. Senator Maroney is on his way as well. He'll be here shortly, but he too has been a key player, not only in this effort, but in broader efforts to improve programs and services for veterans in Connecticut. And Connecticut is leading the way with recognizing those who served our nation who have historically not been recognized for that service, whether it's individuals in the Reserve and Guard, others who may have had bad paper at times for reasons beyond their control, and for those who served in, I would say, branches of service that are not historically recognized by the federal government. You know, I have the privilege of leading an agency, the Department of Veterans Affairs, that has a noble mission of serving those who have served. It is a noble mission because it is only due to the service of those who have served, several who are in this room, and those who continue to serve in our armed forces, that all of us can live in this free and democratic nation. You know, as I drove through to come here, I live in Danbury, commute to Rocky Hill, and then drove up here to Simsbury. I looked at the lawn signs, and I know it's that season, and some people may become annoyed by lawn signs and campaign materials and things stuffed in their doors. But think about it. It's the service of people like Alice and Irene and the gentleman here and others who wore the uniform that allows us to exercise that truly American institution of democracy, of loyal opposition, of political bickering, but with the understanding that we all must serve together, whether it's in good times or in times of crisis. And the word service is a very broad and encompassing word, because during World War II, that greatest of conflicts this world has seen, that total war, it was a call to total service. And the tens of thousands of women who did enlist in the U.S. Nurse Corps did so with no obligation, no draft. They were volunteers. You know, last night I went online to look at recruitment posters from World War II. And along the ones for each of the branches of the military, the auxiliaries, the WACs, and the WAVES, were many posters for the Cadet Nurse Corps, asking them to enlist to serve your nation as part of that fight. They answered that call to address that nursing shortage. They gave this nation the critical capacity to deliver essential health care abroad and domestically, and to military personnel who brought back to the United States with injuries that maybe took weeks, months, or even years to heal. You know, we had a 100-year-old World War II Army Aviation Corps, Army Air Corps veteran, a woman, pass away just a few days ago at Rocky Hill. She was in for 3 years in hospital because she was injured in a training accident by a bomb that went off course. And I am sure that it was members of the Nurse Corps that helped her during those 3 years of her recovery. That service that you provided, Alice, Mr. Walker, your wife, and your fellow cadet, nurse cadets, was invaluable to preserving the freedom of hundreds of millions of people across the globe. You were part of that greatest of generations that literally freed hundreds of millions of people in Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Pacific from the tyranny of Nazi Germany, Imperial Japan, and their allies. I fully support the recognition that Representative Hampton, Senator Maroney, and others are advancing. I thank you for your service in that total commitment of this nation to victory. And to all the veterans who are here today, those who are wearing their service caps, and anyone else who has ever raised their right hand and served domestically or abroad in peacetime or in war, whatever branch of service, thank you. Thank you for your service. Why don't you raise your hand? Stand up. Any veteran in this room to stand, if you can. I know there are others in here. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service and for allowing myself and my children to grow up in this free and democratic nation. May God bless all of you, members of our armed forces, our veterans, and the United States. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I wanted to ask Commander John Fox to come up and say a few words. Before he does, I wanted to recognize Debbie Payne of the DAR, who graces us with her presence. Thank you, Debbie, and for all the work the DAR does for our community. John?
I have to follow two professional speakers. Yeah, it's really rough. So I'm going to deliver, this is a very short personal message that I wanted to deliver to your wife, Irene, Ben, and to Alice. First, on behalf of the VFW Post 1926, Simsbury Veterans of Foreign Wars, and the membership, I'm pleased to be here and honored to be here to celebrate and recognize the service of the two of the Cadet Nurses Corps. But I want to also deliver a personal message, and I want to make sure you can hear it, Alice. And I'm going to read it because I'll screw it up if I don't. This message is from every combat veteran that has woken in a hospital or a MASH unit from their injuries on a battlefield in a foreign land. You were likely our first sight. Your eyes, which express concern and a smile on your lips and care in your heart. No matter how serious our injuries, no matter the pain or the anguish, you were the angels that stood over us, stood over our bedside and made our heart leap, because you were truly the angels of mercy. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you.
At this juncture, I'd like to present some special commendations and citations. So would Mr. Walker and Ms. Johnson and your families please come up for a special presentation? Or would you like us to come to you? Is it easier? You want to be my Vanna White and hold this? So, Ms. Johnson, the Commissioner and I have a copy of Senate resolution to Congress memorializing, recognizing women in the Cadet Nurse Corps during World War II as veterans. This is Senate Joint Resolution 3, which passed this year, and we wanted to present this to you with our gratitude and love. And we will place it right here for you. Thanking you for your incredible service as a nurse cadet. Congratulations and thank you.
You all get a little tired.
Yes.
There we go. Over a little bit more. There we go. Good. Nice. Go ahead.
There were two more presentations.
I know.
So I'll put this one aside. And this is a citation introduced by the Connecticut General Assembly, sponsored by myself, Representative DeBoer, who's the House Chair of the Veterans Committee, and Senator James Maroney, the Senate Chair of the Veterans Committee. Be are known to all that the Connecticut General Assembly hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to Alice Johnson in recognition of your loyal and dedicated service to country with the Cadet Nurse Corps during World War II. The selflessness and sense of compassion you displayed in answering the call of duty when your country needed you is to be commended and is truly the epitome of what makes our nation special. It is your sense of spirit and patriotism that helped secure the passage of Senate Joint Resolution 3, by the Connecticut General Assembly to compel Congress to declare Cadet Nurse Corps volunteers as veterans and honor them in a way that they rightfully deserve. We offer our sincerest congratulations and thank you for all that you have done for our country. The entire membership extends its very best wishes on this memorable occasion and expresses the hope for continued success.
Well, all I can say is that for going to nursing, the Cadet Nurse Corps is the only way I could do it. And many of us could not afford to go into nursing and pay for it. But going through the Cadet Nurse Corps, we could do it, and we enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun at times, and we had a lot of sad experiences also. But that goes along with the nursing. And when you're 18, it doesn't seem to, you recover quicker than you would now at 92. That's a long time ago, but I enjoyed it at the same time. So, and I have my little daughter, Donna. She's number 3.
And your favorite one, right?
Yes.
The commissioner would actually like to present you with.
Alice, on behalf of the State of Connecticut Department of Veterans Affairs, certificate of appreciation presented to Alice Johnson. Recognition of service in the U.S. Cadet Nurse Corps and answering the nation's call to address the shortage of nurses during World War II. You provided our nation with that capacity to continue to provide quality medical care domestically so others could care for our service members abroad. Your service contributed to our victory in World War II, which preserved freedom and democracy in the United States and across the globe. Presented this first day of October 2019. Thank you so much.
This is an honor I did not ever expect. When my daughter said you're going to get an honor, but we thought it was coming to my apartment and did not expect this big.
Well, we're all coming to your apartment after this. Yeah, you're going to need more wall space for all these awards. Mr. Ben Walker. We'd not be here today without this incredible gentleman's service to our country and to his advocacy on behalf of the nurse cadets, and in particular his late wife, Irene Wilkes Walker. So Mr. Walker, it gives me great honor to present to you a copy of Senate Resolution 3, which we passed this year, asking Congress to once and for all officially recognize your wife and Mrs. Johnson and all the countless women who deserve to be honored. So please accept this with my gratitude and present this to your wife posthumously. She'll always be remembered and loved and never forgotten. This is a citation presented posthumously by myself, Representative Boer, Senator James Maroney. Be it hereby known to all that the Connecticut General Assembly hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to Irene Wilkes Walker in recognition of her loyal and dedicated service to our country within the Cadet Nurse Corps during World War II. The selflessness and sense of compassion she displayed in answering the call of duty when her country needed her is to be commended and is truly the epitome of what makes our country special. It is her sense of spirit and patriotism that helped secure the passage of this resolution by the Connecticut General Assembly to compel Congress to declare Cadet Nurse Corps volunteers as veterans and honor them in a way they rightfully deserve. We offer our sincerest congratulations and thank Irene for all that she has done for our country and all that you have done for our country. and I present this to you on behalf of the Connecticut General Assembly with my deepest respect, honor, and love.
Mr. Walker, certificate of appreciation posthumously presented in honor of your wife, Irene Wilkes Walker, in recognition of her service in the U.S. Cadet Nurse Corps, answering that call to serve her nation and to help contribute to that great victory in World War II. Thank you for your service.
Mr. Walker, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much, John. Without your efforts and support by the Commissioner, this day would not have happened. You could take great delight in knowing that you are the first state of all the 50 states and territories to recognize the Cadet Nurse Corps. You are leading the country, and the next effort will be to be disestablished on the national level in Washington, D.C. But if not for your early efforts, John, and your support, Commissioner, and for your staff, this would not have happened. I am grateful and thank you immensely for this honor.
Thank you. I'm honored today to be joined by my colleague and friend, Senator James Maroney, who I served with in the House. He's now in the Senate, the upper chamber. So now I have to call him Senator. He used to be in the House. So he outranks me. But he's a great gentleman, and he serves as Senate Chair of the Veterans Affairs Committee. And I'm so glad he could join us all the way from Milford today to say a few words. So thank you, Senator, and please welcome. Good to see you, sir.
Nice to see you. And thank you very much for having me. It's always great to be with John. As you mentioned, we came into the House together as freshmen, so he's been a good friend and a good ally, and I want to thank him for his leadership on this bill. We also work together on the Aging Committee. He's the Vice Chair of the Aging Committee. This is very important. As you know, we're trying to recognize the over 3,000, I believe, Connecticut women, and they're mainly women who are members of the Cadet Nurse Corps, who put up their hand to put themselves in harm's way to go overseas and into battle and take care of the soldiers. So it is important that we recognize them as veterans as well and thank them for their service. I'd also be remiss if we didn't thank Senator Kathy Austin, who has been a tireless advocate for making sure that we do recognize the Cadet Nurse Corps as veterans. So thank you. It's a great honor to be here, and I'll give it back to John. So congratulations, and thank you for your advocacy.
Thank you.
And thank you to the Commissioner as well for all of his work. It's been great working with the Commissioner, and I'm not sure if you told the people here or they're aware that he's actually going active.
I didn't mention.
Oh, sorry. But not only is he the Commissioner, he is serving our country concurrently. So thank you to him for his leadership. Thank you.
I believe that concludes our ceremony, and I think we're going to stay back behind, and you're going to have us over for lobster. But I believe McLean has graciously put out some refreshments, and I'm going to take some pictures. And again, congratulations and best wishes, and thank you so much for our special guests for being here today, and again to McLean for hosting us.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.